Hello Taurus, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for February for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you a broad overview of what to expect. You're going to move into this month in determined fashion. If there's a key goal that you want to score, whether it's around money or career, you've a great platform on day 1 and 2 to make a really very decisive move, and one that could pay off handsomely. There is going to be a work-life balance issue to resolve in the 2 weeks from the 5th on the back of the full moon. But your ruler Venus is going to be moving later this month on the 20th into a sheltered part of your situation, just when you're given an opportunity to raise your profile and take on more responsibilities. So I think your career situation is looking really promising this month. But around Valentine's Day, there may be some kind of professional matter that deflects you from the time you want to give to a relationship. And if a tie is a bit creaky, you may need to review it from the 20th. But I've got something to tell you about the 27th and 28th, which is truly exciting, and also the last week of this month. So please stay with me for that. I've got 29 million views on YouTube. If you're new to me, I'd be honoured if you'd subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you're returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me once more. However, if you've yet to order your year 2023 personal forecast, so you can rise above this zodiac broadcast, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you your forecast for the next year, and also your life roadmap in my special package of 30% off, which helps you to understand some of the deeper patterns that have come up for you, good and bad, and help you to become more intimate with how to deal with these and how to gain traction from working with your strengths more closely. Also, in my special package, you can get your zodiac forecast for the year, your Chinese and Indian forecast too. Please see the link beneath this video. So Taurus, as you make your way into February, so Mars in your 2nd solar house in the air sign of Gemini strikes a great relationship, a trine with the Sun in your 10th house of goals, ambitions and success. Sometimes in life we can make progress by just being very diligent, patient, applied, going through the processes systematically. This is a time not to do that. This is a time to show maximum self-confidence in what you've got to offer. So that could be making that phone call, sending that email, applying for that job, speaking to a line manager, because the confidence that you can demonstrate could be something that really does impress them. But on the 5th, the full moon occurs in the sign of Leo, which of course, Leo is a very grand sign, and for you, you often like to have a rather refined home. But because the Sun is in your opposite sign, that's really taken up with the more professional obligations and ambitions you have. So essentially what you're being asked to do over the following 2 weeks is to make sure that neither are out of contact with one another. So if you're going to raise your profile, take on more responsibilities, does it feel right? That's the moon in Leo. On the other hand, if your home situation is good, but you're finding it more difficult to make progress at work, perhaps because your circumstances don't make it easy to move forwards, because Uranus in your sign is interacting with this full moon, it may be that you're going to have to try some different and fresh approaches to make progress. But from the 8th to the 12th, Mercury, the planet of business, talk and thought, is conjunct with Pluto, the planet of power. If you do need to have a heart-to-heart with someone, or you need to do a presentation, you need to get some professional advice, some very, very important discussions can take place across those days. But by the 11th, Mercury ascends right to the top of your horoscope. If you're looking for work, this could coincide with some kind of offer of training or to reskill in some kind of way. Then again, if you're in an employment situation where they're very good at on-the-job training or in-house training, a course could be offered in that regard. But in week 3, and that embraces Valentine's Day, the Sun is going to be cresting next to Saturn. Now that could lead to a little bit of a loss of momentum or traction or even self-confidence. Or on the other hand, it can really help you to crystallize in your mind what's really important and just focus wholly on the key goal and ambition that you want to achieve. But that's not particularly romantic. If you have got a partner who's very supportive around your worldly interaction, Valentine's Day will be absolutely lovely. Maybe it's you that needs to support them if they're very busy professionally. But if you're not in a relationship, one of the important things to do on this particular Valentine's Day is not to equate your self-worth with only how much you earn, where you live, or the size of the car you've got. That's not a great thing to do. And the Sun's combination with Saturn could just tease you into being a bit like that. But on the 18th, the Moon is conjoining with Pluto, and maybe a truth will get shared in a relationship, and maybe it will be a bit uncomfortable. But if you're wanting to clarify your longer term future, the Sun's arrival in the sign of Pisces is a great location for you. You know, we already have Neptune in this zone, which has been given your friendships a lot of inspiration since 2012. But your ruler on the 20th moves into Aries. Now, technically, it's detrimented here, but equally for you, this is the sector of reflection, but also potentially of separations. Because the new moon also in your sector of the long-term future on the 20th is conjoining, but in a disassociate way, with Saturn just still in Aquarius. It moves into Pisces on the 7th of March, but they're very close. It may mean that you feel a little bit less optimistic about certain elements of your future hopes, or perhaps someone's not going to come up to the standards that you really expect. Now, the interesting thing about this month, and I teased it earlier, is that week 4 could see some kind of contact with someone from your past, but it won't necessarily be romantic. It could be a friend, but it nonetheless could be someone who was actually important to you, or a message could be passed to you in a low-key and confidential way, which really gives you a sense of warmth and reassurance. On the 27th and the 28th, there is the potential for some kind of connection to someone, but maybe it's something you'll have to keep rather quiet. For example, you know, if you are in a tie which isn't working very well, there could be someone who emerges and you think, wow, look at the energy around them. There could be some kind of attraction in that way. Or perhaps you'll meet someone, but you're both, through your personal circumstances, want to keep things hush-hush for now. So a low-key but potent connection is possible at the end of this month. Could be with an old friend. And for some people, it's possible that an old relationship would be rekindled. But I do say this with great care because it's very difficult to break the pattern if a relationship had a particular energy in the past. And even if both sides have really worked at it, perhaps even had some counselling, then you've got much more of a chance, of course, because other people have helped to give greater information and awareness. But it's very difficult to break a negative pattern. But for some, there could be some kind of reunion as this month draws to a close, or it could be a separation occurs simply because you don't feel that your longer term future and welfare and happiness is actually going to work out, but you may decide to bring the tie to a close in a fairly peaceful and good-natured way. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Taurus. Thank you so much for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.